Oh, shit. Well, normally I start the show with this. But I totally forgot to set that before I hit the go live button. So we started with this. And then now I'm going to be adding my buddy Matt, which he's actually down there in the corner. But hey, Matt.
Hello.
Welcome back.
It's been a rough couple weeks.
I imagine. So what have you been up to? Well, besides the rough shit that you've been dealing with for the last couple weeks, we didn't need to necessarily go into that. But I mean, like,
nothing.
Other things.
Nothing.
There's a Super Bowl that happened.
You know, I honestly stopped watching it about halftime.
I waited for two series in the second half to be like, all right, are we going to do something? And then we were promptly told, no, we are not going to do something. And therefore, I started just drinking heavier. I switched.
Well, you know, as a Chiefs fan, I'm not upset that they lost.
Who cares?
You know, everybody I've seen it was like, oh, I'm like, hey, the last time this happened, the Chiefs revamped their offensive line, which is what needs to happen again, and they went on the tear they're on now.
Yeah.
So exactly. History, I'm like,
bodes well.
Yeah, there's already been precedent for this happening. And what happened? They turned around and win 3 of the last 5?
Exactly.
Going for a three-peat?
Yeah. I wasn't even upset when the game was happening. When it became very clear that the Chiefs offense
they couldn't block anything. They couldn't block the junior high team.
Yeah, I mean, look, Philly. Nothing. Don't take anything away from Philly. They're paid to play football too, and they're a good squad.
They built their team to come back and beat the Chiefs.
But at the end of the day, I mean, that Chiefs team didn't. Look, everybody's wanting to put a bunch of shit on the offensive line. I got news for you. I put most of it on Patrick Mahomes. I think he played a shitty game. I think the times that he did get protection, he just held the ball forever. He missed Kelsey 3 times at least on when Kelsey was wide open, and they were because they were bad balls. It wasn't because
it was just ugly.
I mean, and yeah, like I said, I know the offensive line got beat up after a while, but I mean, we didn't run the ball.
No.
We didn't even try to run the ball.
No, not at all.
And so, I mean, I find most of the fault with this loss to be at the coaching and quarterback level.
Oh, yeah. The Chiefs got to this point by having a balanced game and having a strong ball control running game. I mean, how many series over the season do we see 10 plus, 7-8 minute long drives because they ran the ball?
Exactly. I mean, I just don't. I understand that the offensive line got beat up a little bit, especially in the second half, but I don't think the offensive line played so much worse than it played regularly.
And the defense, they played great. You can only have so many short fields,
right,
and stay in a game. Especially with a team like the Eagles, who have proven time and time again, inside 10 yards, they're almost always going to score.
They're scoring a touch, yeah.
And we gave them, 3-4 series in the first half alone inside the 20?
Something like that. It was dumb. It was just, it was poorly executed football game. I just wanted to see history, man.
Yeah.
That's all I really wanted. I just wanted to see history.
And everybody bitching about the halftime show. I don't know. I didn't watch it.
I didn't really watch it either. I mean, it was just kind of on in the background. I was actually enjoying the company of the people that came to my house to watch a Super Bowl. So I was actually talking to people as opposed to watching the Super Bowl halftime show. At the end, some of the guests at my house, they were like, "Hey, turn up the music. We want to hear the halftime show." And so I did. I didn't see anything that was just so I don't understand what everybody's up in arms about. I get it that, okay, if you don't like rap, then, fine. Saying I don't like rap is I don't like rap. That's fine. Whatever. People don't like rap. And there's nothing I'm going to say to you that's going to convince you that this is a good show if you don't like rap.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, there's other people who feel the same way about country music. And if they did,
and everybody's like, oh, yeah, the performative aspect of it, I don't know. I'll be out first to admit, I know nothing about Kendrick Lamar.
Not a damn thing. I've never
my son listens to him. My son loves him. He thinks he's a genius. I've tried, and he's tried. Dad, you've got to listen to Damn. You've got to listen to Damn. So we put it on. He's got it on vinyl. I bought it for the kid. He wanted it.
Right.
And he's done his damnedest to make me listen to it. And there's nothing, you can say, oh, well, I'm old. It's generational. It's cultural. I grew up in the 90s. I listened to rap growing up in the 90s. I mean, it was everywhere. I mean, that wasn't part of our generation. We listened to everything. Every radio station played everything.
No, I mean, I just, dude,
my thing is people that are bitching about it or whatever. Here's the thing. If you're watching at home, you have a remote in your hand and you've got the ability to change the channel.
Always. It's,
when these people bitching about it, it's like, I had no desire to watch it, so I didn't.
I listened to Whitlock rail on it for an hour yesterday.
Well, I'm sure, because Whitlock's coming at it from a very, very, very narrow conservative perspective anymore.
He's yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Even at that, I was like, man, you're kind of. I don't know. It's like you're
is the old man on the front on the front porch. Get off my lawn, you damn kids!
It's not so much that. I mean, he's dove headlong into his Christianity. So, things are satanic and blah blah blah, and I mean, he wanted to make an issue with Kendrick Lamar doing the thing about Drake being a pedo, and I'm saying I don't think I'm allowed to say that on YouTube. Anyway, I won't say it again, YouTube. I promise. Hopefully, you don't pull down my stream. But he brought that up in his song, and like, honestly, I think I don't
know enough about the whole situation to honestly have an opinion one way or the other.
I don't either, but I'm saying is I'm cool with things like Diddy not being swept under the rug by the industry for a decade. I'm cool with that. Don't sweep it under the rug.
Yeah. My thing is that it's a genre of music that I don't care about at all. There's absolutely nothing in it that I find enjoyable, but I can put that to a lot of different music that's out there.
Sure.
It's just me. If allegations are true, then you follow the proper process, and if guilty, then I mean, other than that,
that's the way we used to do things in this country.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you're guilty until proven innocent.
It's enough of that old fashioned stuff.
Sorry, I don't know. I don't like kangaroo courts.
I'm Banana Republic. You're not down with the Banana Republic? They were in all our malls.
It was just the banana hammock from Banana Republic that I didn't like.
It was what?
It was just the banana hammock from Banana Republic that I didn't like.
Well, yeah, no, that looked, extremely uncomfortable. Oh, hey, pictures
of you in the high-waisted wrestling trunks,
Oh man,
came up to your rib cage.
Right. Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome. So pitchers and catchers report this week.
Yeah, I have baseball.
I know it's not your thing. You know what that also means, though? Concert season's just around the corner.
Yes.
There you go. See,
concert season.
This is where we find, common ground.
Yes, actually, I'm my son, bless his heart, he is finally getting to hit the restaurant here in town he worked at is finally reopening, so they're working again. His
What
first
restaurant is
purchase,
that?
huh?
What restaurant is that?
Shawnee Mountain Barbecue here in Clinton.
Hmm.
It's right out. You know where when you come in town on 7 and it has a little offshoot road that used to go by the Holiday Inn.
Yeah.
Take that offshoot road, and it's just right there on the right hand side, diagonally across from the Dairy Queen.
My uncle used to own that Dairy Queen.
It's really good. They're actually adding in a stone fire pizza oven now to incorporate pizzas into the restaurant as well.
Does Pizza Glen know about this?
Pizza Glen is Pizza Glen, dude. It's you go in there on a Friday night and it's all old people. It's all like people our age and up.
I was gonna say, so it's our high school reunion.
yeah, no, pretty close to it. I don't know. But
we should go down there on a Friday night and just do a show from there. That's what we should do. We should go down there and do a show from Pizza Glen on a Friday night. We'd have like half the fucking town would show up and be on the show. It'd be hilarious.
But his first purchase he's gonna do. He's going to buy tickets for us to go to Starlight. He wants to go to Starlight because that's where the concert is. So I'm like, that's cool because it's the amphitheater. Everything's seating. Starlight's very theatery.
Oh, yeah.
Starlight. But he wants to get us tickets to go see Primus, A Perfect Circle, and Pucifier.
I thought it was Pussifer.
Pucifier is how it's actually pronounced. And I was like, really? And he's like, yes. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I'm totally down to go to see that concert.
I mean, Perfect Circle's pretty good. I'm not like I love Tool. Everything else is everything else. Everything else.
I'm not saying their second 3 albums.
Everything else.
The second 3 albums are garbage to me.
I don't care. I like all Tool. I when it comes to A Perfect Circle and Pucifier,
yeah,
I've not really listened to the third, but to Pucifier, but I've listened to A Perfect Circle, and basically it just kind of sounds like I'm trying to think of like a good analogy here.
It's basically if the guy it's not even the guys in Tool. It's just Maynard. It's the rest of the band is completely
different group of people. But so it's kind of like a what do they call it? Spinoff? It's a spinoff. It's a sitcom spinoff of Tool. So it's like a musical spinoff of Tool. So you have all these new characters. You have all these new characters. Think of like
Perfect Circle tends to lean a lot more towards traditional song structure and more of a quote unquote pop
whatever
sound.
It's like a different world to the Cosby Show. It's a completely different show. It's different. It's got a completely different base.
There's enough of the original cast that you can watch it.
Yeah, well, but it's that thread that keeps you in, you know, and so I don't dislike.
I'm always down to see Primus.
How could you not? How could you not? I mean,
I even saw Les Claypool's side band Sausage back in high school.
Do you remember when Les Claypool did Oysterhead with Trey Anastasio from
and Stuart Copeland from the Police? Now, here, you want to know a really cool trivia note about that album?
I might know it, but go ahead.
About it because this is one that most people don't know. So the only way they got Stuart Copeland to agree to do the project was it had his terms were they had to be able to record it the way the Police recorded their stuff back in the 70s and 80s, which was if you could not play the song start to finish for the recording in 1 or 2 take, the song wasn't worth doing, and they went on. So understand, all of that stuff in Oysterhead, all those classic Police tracks were done in its entirety in one take or two takes. They either did it on the first take and played it all the way through perfectly, or they did it on the second take. And if they couldn't do it, they scrapped the song and went on to something else.
That makes me think of like Jay-Z, who never wrote down a rap lyric. He just freestyled everything. He listened to the beats and then he just all of a sudden just start, all right, here's, and all next thing you know,
he's
there's
gonna
this
end up
song.
he's gonna end up with Diddy anyway, so
Well, whatever. But until
there's it's definitely one of those things that there's a certain level of with him of impressiveness of being able to do that. But yeah, that was the Oysterhead album was done in one or two takes. So all those songs are either the first take or second take all the way through.
It's kind of like the exact opposite of Steely Dan. Are you familiar with? I mean, I don't know how familiar you are with Steely Dan, but I know you know who they are, but I mean,
well, if you didn't know, Walter Beckett and Fagan were in a college band with Chevy Chase.
Yeah. I know, I knew that too. But they were those two guys. So like with Steely Dan, like other than those two guys, everybody else was basically a sessions player.
Yeah.
Now they would bring in great talent.
That's honestly, that's no different than the band Ghost now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That band is the entirety of Tobias Forge, the singer. He writes everything. It is entirely his brainchild. That's why all the musicians wear masks. They're interchangeable. He just hires and fires them. They're just session musicians. They don't write anything.
And like from what I understand, frickin' Steely Dan had like the absolute highest standards of performance for anybody who came in. And like there are like
the reason why Jeff Baxter was with them for so long. Yeah. And Jeff Baxter is one of the unsung guitar heroes of all time. And most people have no idea who he is.
Right, because I don't. But at the end of the day, from what I understand, there are a lot of well-known musicians who went to do sessions work with Steely Dan.
Oh yeah,
and they were denied. Out. Yeah, denied.
Well, Frank Zappa was another one that was massively like that.
Oh, was he?
Oh yeah. Zappa, if you got in Zappa's band, I mean, there's a reason why Steve Vai is still considered one of the greatest guitar players of all time. He started with Zappa at 17 years old.
No.
I mean, go back and listen to Mothers of Invention, the old Zappa stuff. He was so far ahead of the curve for what he was doing.
You should have seen the Facebook firestorm I had with my Frank Zappa post. It basically said that your public school stops teaching civics so that your students wouldn't know their personal rights. So if they don't know their personal rights, they can't argue for them. And that's a synopsis. It isn't the actual quote.
That's Zappa though. I mean,
I know. But you wouldn't believe how many. Oh man, this went down a fucking rabbit hole like nobody's business, man. The next thing you know, we're in a full blown fiery argument about school choice.
I don't miss Facebook.
Man, I'm here for it. Screw it. I don't care.
But yeah, I'm gonna try. I'm also thinking about my son's wanting to get that for us. I'm thinking about getting tickets for me and him and my middle daughter for a show over in St. Louis. And it's some metal.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't realize this, but my middle daughter apparently is quite the metalhead.
Who is? You say your daughter?
My middle daughter.
Your middle daughter. Yeah, my oldest daughter. My oldest daughter's huge metalhead, as you know.
Yes, I know. I introduced her to a lot of bands during COVID.
Right. She still shocks people with her.
My 13-year-old, actually, she asked me, she was like, can you get me some band t-shirts? And I was like, well, you got to give me a list. And the list of bands that she sent me was quite surprising.
Was it?
Yes, in a pleasant way. The only one I actually vetoed to her was I will not buy her a Pantera shirt.
Why not?
As time has gone on, it's more of a I will not support Anselmo and what he stands for as a human being.
What is the deal with that? Okay, I know what I know it's all tied into what happened to Dimebag getting shot.
No.
That's the way I always understood it. Was
Okay,
in
no.
related to
So,
Dimebag getting shot, and that's why
it's been
a long time since all this went down.
I think it's been 7-8 years now. So there used to be a big like memorial concert that would happen on the anniversary of Dime's murder. Well, one year at the end of it, and like I said, it was a big deal. It was a lot of who's who in metal that would come and everybody would just throw bands together and jam out to old Pantera songs.
Right.
Well, and when I watched it, it brought up a lot of memories of going to see Pantera shows, and I don't excuse it. At 18, 19 years old, I wasn't as cognizant about things as I am now.
Sure.
But on tape at the end of the performance, Anselmo is throwing Sieg Heil salutes, screaming white power. And going back and looking back on things, I can remember seeing that stuff at Pantera shows. You know, I didn't think anything about it because in the 90s I didn't think about stuff like that. You know,
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I never went to a Pantera concert, so
so there was a lot of blowback for it, and Anselmo was like, no, I was talking about the power of white Zinfandel. I was really drunk on wine, blah blah blah. You know, trying to spin it.
That's awful.
Rob Flynn, who is the singer, lead guitar player for Machine Head, another phenomenal band that came out of the 90s scene, did an 8 or 10 minute video where he was just like, you know what? I'm done keeping quiet about this shit. And he just laid it out and just raked Anselmo over the coals, over everything. And was like, that's bullshit. You know it. And that's why you don't see so much, like, even when they did the Pantera reunion, it really did not have the boom that they thought it was going to have, because there's been so much, again, as time has gone by. It's like you saw with what happened with Hulk Hogan at the Monday Night Raw. Time has gone by, and the reality of who these people are behind the scenes has come out. And
what's Hogan done that was so bad, other than having a political opinion that people in California didn't like?
Oh, dude, Hogan's openly racist.
Really?
There's tons of video footage of him.
I mean, I heard something about him dropping the word in the video.
Occasion. I mean, he's just the later years, and especially in the wrestling community, as time has gone by, with the various podcasts and these guys getting older, and you know they're not able to wrestle, so they're just kind of like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to tell the truth,
tell the stories.
And as time has come out, you've gotten more and more of a picture that Hogan was not the real American hero that he put on screen, and
right.
You know,
I don't think anybody really thought that. I mean, everybody kind of thought that was.
Well, they really tried to protect the business back in those days.
Yeah, true.
So, you know, so much of this has come out now, and it's just like he tries to come out and do that, and people are like, we know who you are, and we just don't buy it anymore.
No, I mean, I understand. I understand all of that aspect of it. I didn't know. Like I said, I'd heard that there was video that he had said the word one time. That
there's more than that. Oh yeah, there's just stories and stories of littered about him. About
it's
how
one thing. It's one thing to be caught on tape saying the word in an emotional moment, and you just kind of have a bad personal moment, right? That's one thing.
Yeah.
It's another thing to be like Lyndon Johnson in the White House.
Yeah.
Saying it about just because that's the way
That
you
was the
talk about it.
vernacular at the time.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
and sorry, but I find LBJ to be a rather despicable person if we're going to be talking about things in that that category. I think he's kind of a horrible person. And and so anyways, I guess my point being is I didn't realize it had become clear that Hogan was very much like LBJ.
Oh yeah, and that's been the thing that's come out with Pantera, and on a personal level, that just I don't even listen to the music anymore. I can't. That just I look back on on those times, and it's like, wow, I just must have had blinders on, or just didn't want to see it at the time, or didn't understand it.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand. I mean, I don't know enough about it, so I don't have that type of, it's like there's like 6, maybe 5 Pantera songs that I hear come through like on Turbo every once in a while. I still like them. I'm still going to listen to them when they come on. I don't generally seek Pantera out when I'm looking for music, but it's kind of like Michael Jackson music. I still like Michael Jackson music.
Well, yeah. I mean, how do you not like some of the most genius?
Whoa! You can't act like listening to Michael. I mean, if you're like swearing off of Pantera because of what Phil Anselmo did, and you're like, oh yeah, but Michael Jackson.
There was nothing ever proven that I've never seen any proof that Michael Jackson was throwing out white power signs.
No, that's fine. We've seen plenty of proof that he might have been, Diddy's inspiration. I mean, come on. I mean, like I said, I'm not trying to get you to go listen to Pantera.
No, I'm not saying that. But
Michael Jackson was every bit as creepy of a guy as Phil Anselmo could have been. Every bit. There's no doubt in my mind.
And I personally still choose Prince over Michael any day, though.
Well, that's fine. That Sir, is a red herring to get me to chase a different conversation.
Well, if we're going to talk about living outrageous lifestyles, at least with Prince, man, what you saw was what you got.
I mean, if the worst thing you can be is a heroin addict, then
it wasn't heroin; it was fentanyl.
Yeah, right, because he didn't think he was getting fentanyl.
But it was painkillers. He was getting painkillers. He wasn't getting heroin.
Well,
he was a
pill. They're all opiates, man. They're all opiates.
But he was a pill addict. Heroin killed guys like Shannon Hoon and Bradley Noel. And Lane Staley and
Jimmy.
Janice. Jimmy passed away from too many sleeping pills.
I thought he passed away on choking on his own vomit.
Many sleeping. He took too many. He was the from everything I've read, and I've read a bunch of the stories of Jimmy. Apparently, he was one of those kind of like, he was so used to being in an altered state of mind that he was used to taking more than everybody else, and he just took too many sleeping pills to help him go to sleep. And when he tried to throw it up, his body wouldn't wake up to do it, and he choked on it.
No, I mean, aren't sleeping pills opiates too? I mean, at some level, we're basically just splitting hairs on. Oh well, it wasn't heroin. I mean, he didn't get the spoon out.
Well, that would be like saying though that Kurt Cobain's death was heroin related.
Well, I don't find shotguns to have a lot to do with the ingestion of heroin or opiates.
I mean, was he high when it happened?
Was he not high ever?
I don't know. I still think Courtney did it, but that's my personal opinion.
You think what?
I still think Courtney did it.
I think. Oh, I'm definitely on board with the. I don't think it was a suicide. I'm definitely on it was not self-deletion. Absolutely. But I don't know that I would chalk it up to being, heroin.
It was money because he owned and he had been convinced to write out Dave and Chris out of all the money from Nirvana, They made nothing from any of the royalties. It was all Cobain.
Wow.
Yeah. If you didn't know that, that was a Courtney Love thing. She pushed him to that, and yeah, he actually was the only one that made money off the songwriting stuff from Nirvana.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, others like so. I actually went and ended up getting her a Faith No. I got my daughter a Faith No More shirt. She's a big Faith No More fan.
Solid.
But I'm going to try to get us tickets to go see a couple bands, a band called Between the Buried and Me and a band called Protest the Hero.
All right.
Between the Buried and Me.
I will expect a report.
If I go to the show, there will be one. But Between the Buried and Me, I'll tell you what, I know you're not a super big metal guy. But
the truth is, it's not even that. I mean, yes, no, I'm not a super big metal guy. I've had the hardest time in the last decade getting into any new music. Like, and I mean any.
I will tell you, I will say this. If you can handle the fry vocals and screams, Between the Buried and Me is the closest thing that we have modern music to being on par creativity wise with a 70s era Pink Floyd, a 70s era Genesis. These guys are the modern masters of the concept album. Even surpassing Coheed and Cambria. And Coheed and Cambria built their careers off of a concept.
I liked them.
I would suggest if you ever want, if you've got the time, and it's a sit down and listen to start to finish album. You really can't pick out singles with Between the Buried and Me. Their album colors, even the album cover is evocative of Dark Side of the Moon. And this album came out 16 years ago, I think 15, 16 years ago is when they released it. One of the most, it's just amazing. It is, but it's not designed. They don't write to release singles. They write full albums. Their songs are not designed to have breaks in them.
Kind of like a rock opera.
Yes, very much so. What I loved about those guys, Between the Buried and Me, their second album album they released, they had the balls to come out and release a full cover album.
Oh, of a cover of what?
They called it The Anatomy Of. And what it was is like their first album, Alaska, was just mind-bending. They did stuff at the time that nobody else was doing. Severe odd time signatures, weird breakdowns. But then they did The Anatomy Of, and that's what they called the album. And it was them just paying homage to songs that got them into music. Right. And it's got the most just...
So it's an album full of covers. So like what'd they cover?
Let me pull it up here because I don't want to misquote some of the songs on there, but I also want to highlight some of the weird ones that they did because it was pretty strange.
Did you hear that Elon Musk changed his username on X?
No, what did he change it to?
Hairy Balls.
He is a troll master of troll masters.
Oh my God, it's so funny. It's
so funny. The album opens up with them covering Blackened.
Oh, by Metallica?
But you can actually hear bass, so it sounds really, really good. They feature The Day I Tried to Live.
Ooh, I like that song.
They covered Queen's Bicycle Race.
I love that song too.
And they do it well. They covered Us and Them, Pink Floyd.
There we go. I haven't so far what I've heard and what I like about what you've read off to me so far is that they're covering really good songs by amazing bands, but I haven't heard a name of a song yet that is a song where it's like, you better not fucking do a cover of that song. You know what I mean? There are those songs out there that.
So when I talk about weird songs, they covered Little 15 from Depeche Mode.
I'm gonna guess I know that song, but I don't know.
It is an early kind of B-side Depeche Mode song.
Huh.
They covered Malpractice from Faith No More.
Okay.
Geek USA. Smashing Pumpkins.
Geek USA.
That was off of their first album, Cherub Rock.
Okay.
They did Cemetery Gates.
There you go. See,
but
see, none of those are the song that, like I said, there are certain songs out there that
they did
like,
Kickstart My Heart.
And see, that wouldn't be the like if there was one song that was the Motley Crue song that you would be like, nobody should
Home Sweet Home.
Exactly. Nobody should remake that song.
Yeah.
But so my point is that they're remaking a lot of these great songs, but none of the songs they picked to remake are that song that you should not remake.
Well, in a lot of them, they're not like, of course, a lot of people know Bicycle Race. I mean, that's kind of one of the quirkiest Queen songs.
Right. Yeah, I love it. It's so cool.
But like the average person isn't gonna know. First of all, most people don't know who King Crimson is in the first place. The band.
I've heard of them.
I
wouldn't be able to.
Three of a Perfect Pair.
What?
Let alone know the song Three of a Perfect Pair. That's one of those songs like, if you're not into this band, you really don't know the song.
Right.
And that's what I really loved about it, is because, like I said, a lot of these are...
Well, hell, the Depeche Mode song and even the Smashing Pumpkins, I think I know that Geek USA song, but I'm not sure that I do.
But, again,
I will confess to being like a musical savant like you.
Yeah.
So I don't remember.
Here's one that I know you'll know because it's a song that we both love. They covered Change, Blind Melon.
Oh, yeah.
And they did not metal it up. They did they did it their way.
Okay, that was the next thing I was going to say. That was the next thing I was going to say about covers. There's two things that I hate. I hate covers that go too far away from like the original song to where it's like almost impossible to recognize it as the song they're covering. And I hate when a band does a cover and doesn't put enough of their own personality into the cover.
Okay,
and
so there's
my best example of that is when Weezer covered Toto in Africa, because it sounded like they tried to just sound like Toto doing Africa as opposed to being Weezer doing Africa.
1 second, I have to go close the cabinet before my cat spill paint.
Oh, well, that'll be fun. Well, I mean, if the cats spill the paint, that wouldn't be fun. So apparently Matt's cat is a shithead. But I mean, I understand this because I have cats, and my cats are assholes. They're not shitheads. They're assholes. So that's a little different. But
sorry, my orange cat was being an orange cat.
Yeah, that's why I was describing. Apparently you have a shithead for a cat. I have assholes. My cats are assholes.
I have an orange cat with an ad. I have an orange cat, so it's but so there's a band that I listen to, and they're
is he lazy and eat lasagna by the
No. She talks a lot. She's actually a female, which is very rare. Most orange cats are males.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
what was that other
the orange
Heathcliff?
Huh?
Heathcliff. That was the other orange cat.
Yeah, Heathcliff and Garfield. Yeah. But so there's a band out of Italy called the Melodica Brothers, and they're actually brothers, and it's just them two, and they do it themselves. They do covers but their whole shtick is the covers are just, they try to reimagine the song in the most off the wall way possible, but it always works. I've yet to hear one that's a clunker. Like they did Avril Lavigne's "Complicated," but they made it as a prog rock song that got more complex as the song went on.
Yeah, I have to check it out. At least I know the songs.
They did a cover of Aha's "Take on Me," which everybody our age loves that song.
Oh hell yeah, dude! Honestly, one of the best music videos ever made.
Oh yeah,
especially considering the technology of the time.
But the way that they did it like as like an Irish folk ballad. It works.
Maybe.
Here's the reason why it works. Have you heard the MTV Unplugged version of Aha's "Take on Me" that they did?
No.
You have to watch it.
Okay.
All right. It is, because if you really listen to the lyrics of "Take on Me," the song is kind of like very similar to Tears for Fears' "Mad World." It's a very depressing song wrapped up in a happy package.
Right.
So when they did it acoustically, they stripped it down and it becomes this gut-wrenchingly emotional song when you actually listen to the lyrics.
Right.
The point, like as they're panning through the crowd, because it's a live Unplugged. Right. People in the crowd are crying because it's just, you can't be helped but be moved by how strong the song is.
It's like that Pearl Jam song, only they don't wrap it in a happy package. It's that Pearl Jam remake of that Crash song from the 50s.
Oh, yeah. Last Kiss.
Yeah. Do that. I can't. I don't even listen to that song. Fuck that song.
So, do you know the song "Mad World" I'm talking about from?
Yeah, I think so.
Tears for Fears.
I think so. If I heard
it was remade in the late 90s, early 2000s for the movie Donnie Darko.
Right.
And the artist was Gary Jules, and he reimagined it in a tone that was fitting for the lyrics. And it becomes this super dark, heart-wrenching song.
Oh yeah, I know that song.
Now
it took me a minute.
You're gonna have to listen to the Gary Jules version, because he takes that song and creates a dark atmosphere that actually.
I just watched Donnie Darko, or started watching Donnie Darko about a week ago. I know what you're talking about.
Yes, that's Mad World.
Yeah.
No. And a lot of people did not realize that was a cover song. I heard it immediately and went, "Oh my God, I can't believe he went that direction with it." And holy crap, it makes it evokes an aspect of the song that you don't think about.
It's kind of like when Johnny Cash did Hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, because people are always like, "Oh, I like the Johnny Cash version better." It's like, no, I don't like the Johnny Cash version better, but I definitely love the dynamic that the Johnny Cash version, created, because it's a very cool and unique dynamic that Johnny Cash gave to it. But
there, my asshole is joining us.
Oh, what's up? And I can tell by looking at you that you and my two cats would get along absolutely not at all. I can see it in your eyes. But yeah, no, I get that. And, another good one in that regard is Sound of Silence. With
Disturbed. Yes. Now,
I still like the original better than Disturbed's. I still like the original better, but I really love the essence that Disturbed put on that.
When that was announced that they were doing that song, mm-hmm. I won't lie to you. I went into listening to it with every intention of, I'm going to hate this song because they're going to screw it up. They are not going to, I'm like, I just was like, they are not going to do this song right. because I'd heard what they did to Land of Illusion.
I liked what they did with I liked what they did with that.
Oh, I couldn't stand it. Couldn't stand it.
I like it.
But here's the thing. At the same time that their version came out, this band, In Flames, one of my all-time favorite bands, released their cover of it at the same time. So I thought the In Flames version was a little closer to a true version. I did not like the way Disturbed reinterpreted Land of Illusion, although I did like the way they reimagined Shout.
Isn't it Land of Confusion?
Land of Confusion, yeah. Sorry, I'm confused.
I liked Shout too.
I liked the way they covered Shout.
Oh, okay.
I like that one. I'm very hit or miss with Disturbed. I won't lie. It tends to get very repetitive. They're good at what they do, but what they do is kind of paint by numbers.
Kind of.
But when I heard Sound of Silence, I was like, God damn it, I love this. I don't want to, but I do. Because I was like, if he sang like this more often, I would be way more into Disturbed.
I like Disturbed, so I don't have a lot to, I don't have a lot to complain about.
But
I still like the Paul Simon and Garfunkel version of it better than Disturbed, which most people I run into don't.
My son has an original pressing of that album.
Of the Sound of Silence album from Simon and Garfunkel. Yep. Isn't that the one with them walking away in on a rainy day in a road or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. My dad had that album.
I found a copy of that for him at that little thrift mall in Harrisonville, right off the side of the road. As you're coming into Harrisonville on 71, going north.
I think so, maybe.
The big antique mall barn thing right there on the side of the opposite one. I was in there one day bored and I found it for $2.
Nice.
And not a scratch on it. I was like, okay. Actually, right. I have one of my favorite albums coming to me. I found a copy of one of my favorite 90s albums. And I didn't think it was even in print anymore. And I found a store out of New York that gets unique pressings of albums. And I'm finding stuff that I didn't even know was released anymore. So,
that's cool. All right. So we have a chore now. We have to figure out how to get Steve and Matt onto this on a regular basis. Or you are Matt, Steve and Mike. Sorry, wrong M.
Well, the problem is that they both work during the day.
No, I understand that. So we're going to have to figure out a workaround on this. And that's fine. It can be done. We just got to figure it out.
Yes.
Because I think, because you're like, oh, it's been way too long since we got together. And I agree. And it'll still probably be a long time, in between physical get-togethers. Yeah. But there's no reason the four of us can't just sit here and do a show and have a fucking great time doing it, and occasionally bring on other people to join us in the festivities. Yeah, the shenanigans. So I think that's one thing we need to work on, figuring out how we can make that happen.
Yeah.
I'll have to have some conversations with Steve and Mike. I know they both work during the day, but they got to have a lunch, right?
You would think,
and if they were able to, somehow spin it into, hey, I'm marketing for the company, we could give them each a couple of minutes to say their bit about their job, about their work, maybe that would work a little better for them. We'll see. So anyways, yeah, while you were off, I was basically just reading stories about new shit going on in the travel industry and stuff. So I'm trying to work on figuring out some sort of format that incorporates, many different aspects. We're putting it together. We're going to figure it out. I got a feeling that, cause I know you got life to live too. So maybe we'll end up having it be, various days. I have different guests on different days. That way you don't have to worry about necessarily having to be here every single one of them.
Yeah.
And that make things easier for everybody too. I think it'd be fun for me to have my uncle on because he's fun to talk to sometimes.
We need to get your brother on too, though.
Jason?
Yes. He's always fun.
He actually does like to get behind the mic and talk. So we may be able to
like to talk.
Yeah. Oh, and I told you I got Zach Powell coming on.
Cool.
Not Zach Poland, not Zach Powell. Zach Poland. We got Zach Poland coming on doing the business roundtable on Wednesdays. So that's mostly like for a business referral group. You're welcome to join it if you want, but we're mostly just doing business referral stuff. So, that it's up to you whether or not you want to participate in that.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right, dude, we've done just about an hour. I need to get back to the rest of my day because like the first part of my day got kind of hijacked by a really good networking meeting and networking group that I stumbled onto, and I'm looking forward to going back. So Tuesdays are going to be going to be like this. I'm gonna have to figure out the timing a little better.
No worries.
But
most days I have nothing going on. So
no, I know that's why I love having you on when we can have you on. So but we got to make sure we have topics, kind of like we did today. We stumbled into some good topics today about music and sports and such. So, yeah, I think that's about it. We'll find out, kind of look towards specific concerts you like. I want to hear more about those sporting events coming up.
Well, like I said, I'm going. I've got one I'm personally going to in April. So,
all right, fantastic. All right.
And that band's releasing a new album right before that, so I'm looking. The new single comes out at the end of the month, so I'm looking forward to all of that. So.
Awesome.
Band called They're called the Birthday Massacre.
That sounds lovely.
It's actually a synth pop band.
That is like fucking flock of seagulls.
No, they're more the goth style, so more of an offshoot of like later Depeche Mode, stuff like that. Like it's a little darker, but it's super fun. The community is super just come be yourself. Everybody just has fun. No one gives a shit.
Right.
Everybody's welcome. I've done the VIP when I went the last 2 years, and they're just super cool people to meet and talk to, and they remember you from year to year, and it's just, it's just fun vibes. It's just good, happy music.
Interesting. Well, then we shall hear about.
And they also did a really kick-ass cover of the Neverending Story theme song.
Oh my God. That might be the worst movie theme song ever made. I hate the theme song.
Because I'm sorry.
I don't like the movie. I don't like the song.
That is one of the most iconic 80s theme songs, period.
And it's terrible. There's lots of things that are iconic about the 80s that are terrible. Lots of things.
It is like the most perfect synth pop song.
That movie sucked. That song sucked.
No, it didn't.
It was all awful. There's nothing good.
It was not.
And then what the most amazing thing about the Neverending Story is that no matter how bad it was in the 80s, they've decided they're going to remake it and it looks worse.
Yes. Now the remake is I'm not thrilled with the remake.
Like, holy crap, how did you make that worse?
But my problem my problem with it is that given how they treat things in Hollywood today, they're going to destroy the core of the story.
Oh, well, I'm sure of that.
I mean,
they made the cute fluffy dog flying dog dragon thing. They made that thing like scary. I'm so over Disney. Anyway, so we got lots of shit to talk about coming up. We need to get a few more, add some more people to our cast of characters. It will be great. I'm Eric. He's Matt. This is our Middays, Midlife in the Midwest show, sponsored by Living Life in Style, my travel agency. Please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, all those other buzzwords that we're supposed to say on YouTube so that people start following. And we will, hey, hang out for a second after I close the show off here and
Okay.
chat a little longer.
I have to get a cat out of a drawer anyway. Hold on one second.
All right, say goodbye, Matt.
Goodbye, everybody.
All right, goodbye.